Hi everybody, my name is Michael Glaze and I am with the Personnel Board of Jefferson County. We are investing in you by coming to you throughout the month and doing lunchtime learning blasts with the Personnel Board of Jefferson County. And it's just a time for us to share with you 20-30 minutes giving you some information that we hope will make a difference in your life. We are also doing some trainer talk podcasts, which I think are going to be a lot of fun. You can learn from that. It should be interactive as well, so you'll be able to join us for those. If you will go to Personnel Board of Jefferson County on Facebook, you will see where you can follow us. You don't have to be a Merit System employee. Just follow us on Facebook, and you'll be able to enjoy these. So we look forward to seeing you there. What I would love to do is get into what we're talking about today, and worry is a waste of time. So let me share that with you. We spend a tremendous amount of time in worry. A couple of weeks ago, I shared with you, you are what you think. So if we spend so much time worrying, think about it. Do you want to be a big ball of worry? Do you want to be stressed out all the time? You don't want to be that. We spend a lot of time, am I going to make it to work on time today? What's happening? What's for lunch? Are we worried about, is somebody else going to determine what I'm doing today? So we don't want to worry, and I'm going to spend a little bit of time with you breaking this down. I'm going to give you some statistics to show you how much time we spend worrying about different things. And by the end of this, you'll be able to see how much time is wasted. I'm also going to share with you some tools how not to worry. So don't worry, I've got a whole package put together for you, and we'll make it work. And hopefully you'll leave here feeling so much better. Actually, I can guarantee you're going to feel so much better just by how we end. But here we go. Let's move into this. We spend about 40% of our time worried about things that will never happen. I mean, never, ever happen. When we're kids and our parents are coming home, they're not coming home, or they didn't come home when they were supposed to, so we worry that they got in a car wreck or something. Now, as parents, we worried about our kids. They have a curfew. They're supposed to be home at a certain time. Rather than remembering when we were teenagers and we were late, and it was just because we were late, we're worried that something may have happened. We're worried, and then they just show up late. We have already set out consequences. We've done all the right things, but then we allow that worry to come in for things that never happen. 40% of our time. Just think how we could save so much of that. Let's move to the next one. Things in the past that can't be changed. 30% of our time. It is amazing that we spend so much time thinking about past events. What I want you to do, what I want to encourage you to do at this point is this. If there was a lesson to learn from the past, learn the lesson. Learn from it. Bring it to where you are today, but be present where your feet are. Okay, let's bring it into today. Let's forget about the past from a standpoint of worrying. There's no point in worrying. There's lots of memories and wonderful memories that we can reflect on, that we can think about, but there's no point in worrying. That happened in the past. Is it going to happen again? 30% of our time is doing that. Norm and Kimberly, I'm so glad to see you here joining with me. Can you believe it? Can you believe that we've already talked about 70% of our time, things that'll never happen and things that have already happened, and we have spent that time worrying. So let's move on to the next piece. Needless worries about our health. Now, don't get me wrong. Right now, we're in a pandemic and there's a lot of things going on. But think about it from the perspective of health. Is today my day? Am I going to fall over and that today is the end of what I know as my life. Those are things we shouldn't worry about. They get in our way of living a very productive, happy life. And, that's really, really big. The thing that really gets me, this is really funny. I rarely ever go to WebMD because this is what happened one time when I went to WebMD. Now I'm going to use a hypothetical situation. I look down on my arm and it's itching and I've got a spot on my arm. So I go to WebMD and I'm looking up because I don't remember anything happening. And what I find out is WebMD says, you've got a fatal disease and you're going to die. I mean, right out of the gate on WebMD, they tell you you've got something that's going to kill you. And so you immediately begin to think about or worry about, oh no, what are we going to do? And it puts you in a frantic. But the reality is that last night when you were asleep, a mosquito bit you and it itches and there's a red spot there. So there are so many external things that cause us to worry. Luckily for us, that's only 12%, but take 12% of where you are right now, how many years that is, and you'll just be amazed at what that looks like. Yes, Kim, 70% is a lot of worrying. And self-diagnosing is a great way, especially if we go into the negative side. Now, on the same piece, a personal worry of mine from teenage years growing up, my mom had multiple sclerosis. So in my mind, I'm thinking every headache I have, well, I could have multiple sclerosis. Part of multiple sclerosis are headaches, numbness, paralysis, etc. A lot of things go on. So anytime that I had any signs or symptoms of a headache or my arms are numb or I feel like they're going to sleep or my legs felt like they're asleep, there's a thought there, oh no, I've probably got multiple sclerosis. Well, I spent a lot of time worrying about that. Luckily for me, I went to my neurologist and had an MRI of my brain and all that. He has assured me that at this current time, I do not have multiple sclerosis. I probably will not get it. And at my age, I don't have much to worry about because if I was going to get it, I would already have it. Now, he can't guarantee that 100%, but it took a lot of worry away from me, and I don't have to worry about that. Cynthia Parker, it's good to see you. I'm glad that you joined us. Thanks for being here. We're just talking about a few things that we worry about. And in a few minutes, I'm going to talk about how not to worry. But the next piece is miscellaneous. So you see all of those different colors of straws that I have. Random thoughts. We spend 10%. It sounds like a low number. Okay, I'm 53. So out of 53, 10% is 5.3 years, right? 5.3 years. I thought of, or I worried about things that are just miscellaneous. There's a dead tree under there. I wonder how long, or I'm worried about whether that's going to fall and hurt someone. Oh, there's a little shiny object that comes. I'm worried about this. What's going to happen? What if? And we're so worried about things that we have no control of. 10% of our life, 5.3 years for me, of miscellaneous worries, the what ifs in life that may or may not happen. Then we move to the legitimate worries of life. 8%. It is still 8%. It's the lowest number, but it gets us to that 100%. And it's a 100% scale. We rarely ever do that anymore. But in that 8%, it's broken down into two categories. Problems we can solve and problems that we don't have any control over. Okay, so in that, we know that we can solve some of those problems, and then there are problems that we have no control over, so we have to let go of that. Greg and Taria, it's so good to see you. Glad that you were part of this. Don't worry, we're getting to the good part really soon. How'd you like that? But we're moving right along here, and what I want to share with you, Earl Nightingale shared this, that the mind is the only thing that separates us from the creatures. Now, this is really important because I shared with you 2 weeks ago, like I already said, that we are what we think about. And if we want to change our habits, we have to change our mindset. So we have to change the way that we think so we don't worry nearly as much. Let me give you some goals to focus on that are going to help you not to worry so much. These will be very, very helpful. I'm going to tell you that I've tried to implement these. The first one is tough. It's a tough one because I already get up early. I kind of have a schedule that I go with, but I've got to work on this every day. And what I mean by every day in this sense, by the way, this came from Earl Nightingale's Lead the Field. It's dated, but I'm going to challenge you. And all of you can follow up with me. You can reach me at the Personnel Board of Jefferson County. But check out his methods and his principles and see if they do not apply today just like they did back in his time. But let's go with goal number 1, okay? Every day, Monday through Friday, if you will find 1 hour of every day to list 20 ideas to improve what you're doing right now, okay? Now, you may not be able to come up with 20 ideas every day, but come up with as many as you can. We are all in different situations. So start off with this, 20 ways that I can improve what I currently do as far as my job. 20 ways that I can improve where I am, what I'm doing, how can I do this better? How can I influence people in a positive way? How can I work to make where I am so much better? If you are retired, you're working on a project. How can I work at this project to make it more efficient? How can I get it done better? How can I change it just a little bit to make it even a better product than I thought it would be? Okay, so every day, Monday through Friday, 1 hour a day. That's 5 hours a week that you can do that. And it's going to help us stop worrying so much because it's going to give us some ideas to be working on, and it'll occupy our mind to give us things to think about. Okay? Number 2, if everything you have is based on using 5% of your brain, imagine what you can have if you take time to increase that amount. Now you may be asking, where did you get that number 5%? Well, there's been a lot of studies over a lot of years. And the consensus is this: we as human beings only use 3 to 10% of our brain capacity. Isn't that amazing? Only 3 to 10% of our brain capacity for most people. The number most people come up with is 5%. Most of us only use 5% of our brain capacity. So what we're looking at here is ways to increase that, how to increase our brain usage beyond 5%. And I'm going to help you with that really, really quick. Read. This is the big one. I talk about reading all the time and really getting a bigger vocabulary because of what you read and what you hear. But this is huge. Okay, are you ready for this? Are you really ready? Engage in conversations with people. Get off social media, except for this few moments that you're with us. But get off of social media. Spend time engaged with people. Have conversations with people. Ask questions. Because what that is doing is it's causing us to engage our brain and think about people. It's making a lot of things happen. But most importantly, it's putting us in touch with another human being that we can engage with. It's going to make us think better. Typically, it will make us think faster over the long run. And we will be able to increase the amount of brain power that we use. So let's move to the next one. Number 3, successful people are not people without problems. They're just people who've learned to solve them. Another thought process. The things I worry about, the legitimate ones that I have control over. If I learn how to solve those problems because I use my brain and I thought about how to solve them, then I have solved that worry. I don't have to worry about it anymore. That is a fantastic thing to do, is solve our problems rather than worrying about our problems. And if we engage with people, they can help us solve those problems. It would be a wonderful, wonderful thing. And number 4, don't waste time worrying about needless things. Now, Pete, thanks for joining us. Taria, Cynthia, Greg, Kimberly, and Nathan at the top. Work with me on this part, okay? Needless things. Well, what are needless things? Because if I'm worried about it, it must be important. This is a challenge for you. Write down the things you worry about. And then, just like we do in a lot of management classes or leadership classes, is start prioritizing those. Is this really something to worry about? And it gives you a different perspective. Once you write it down and you see it on paper, it gives you an opportunity to say, this is real, this is a legitimate worry, or it's not. And if you mark through it, stop worrying about it. Take it out of your mind. And then finally, follow through on thinking and the use of your mind. Now, this is really, really important. I just learned this yesterday. I did not know this, but if you have a thought in your mind, you can't just forget about that thought. So let's think about Krispy Kreme donuts. Wouldn't that be great? It's lunchtime right now. So for dessert, let's run down and get some Krispy Kreme donuts. Now, I just put Krispy Kreme donuts in your mind. Stop thinking about Krispy Kreme donuts. I don't want you to think about Krispy Kreme donuts anymore. Take it out of your mind. Don't think about Krispy. Every time that I say Krispy Kreme donuts, or even if I say don't, it makes you think about it more. This is what I learned yesterday. To change a thought in your mind, you can't just stop thinking about it. You have to replace that thought. So instead of saying, go get a Krispy Kreme, think about, walking on the beach this summer is going to be fantastic. I can't wait to walk on the beach. Well, that's a big difference, because if I'm in my swimsuit, I don't want people to see the Krispy Kreme. I want them to see what I have in my mind of a good-looking guy walking on the beach. Well, if I've got too many Krispy Kremes, that's not going to happen. So I've got to change my thought from Krispy Kreme to walking on the beach and enjoying. Now I've eliminated that other thought, whatever it was. Now I'm walking on the beach, enjoying myself. I'm sorry, Cynthia. Just let him eat them all and you won't have to worry about it. Enjoy that dozen, and after that dozen's gone, you won't have to worry about any more. Okay, here we go. Before we get to this guy, let me back up one before we get here. If you happen to be a person of faith, here's another way that you can stop worrying. And it's don't be pulled in different directions or worried about anything, but be saturated in prayer throughout the day, offering a faith-filled request before God with overflowing gratitude. I talk about gratitude a lot. Begin your day in gratitude. Tell him every detail of your life, then God's wonderful peace that transcends human understanding will make the answers known through Jesus Christ. Okay? Not to force that on anyone, I'm just giving you that option. And then we're going to go to the great philosopher, Bob Marley. And Bob says, don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is going to be all right. And there's so much of that. It's a small jingle. Try to get that out of your head for the rest of the day. Really don't, because it's a great song that we can have in our head. Don't worry about a thing, because every little thing is going to be all right. There's really no point in wasting our life worrying or spending any more of our time. worrying and wasting that time. What I want to leave you with is life is too beautiful to waste time worrying. Live today as if today may be your last day. Make as big a difference as you possibly can. Make a positive impact on people. Meet people. Talk to people. Enjoy the moment. And let's put worry out of our mind and replace it with people, thoughts of peace, thoughts of beauty, thoughts of people we love. Replace it, and our lives will be so much better. So you're absolutely right, Greg. He did have a little bit of help not worrying, but I don't recommend it. But think about the song and just take the lyrics for what they're worth. I really appreciate all of you that joined me today on Facebook Live. I hope you got something from this. I hope that you're able to take some of the worries that you have, if not all. It's going to take practice, okay? It's something you've got to work on, but get rid of that. Let the worry go and really be present where you are. Be thankful for where you are, who you are, and what's going on in your life. Have an attitude of gratitude, and we will see you next time. Have a fantastic day and even a better weekend. We'll see you next time. Take care.